Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I really hope you're all doing okay and having a great day and an amazing week. My name is Effy and today we are putting a bunch of products on my face for the first time ever. They're not new products by any stretch of the imagination, in fact some of them are quite old, but this is the look. We are testing a bunch of different brands. We've got some Lottie London, we've got some MUA, we've got some BEAUTYBAY, we've got some Revolution, we've got a bit of Huda Beauty, we've got a bit of everything. So yeah, this is the final look. Most of it is new products. There are a couple of things that aren't, but that's fine. Let me know what you think of the look down in the comment section. Drop me a comment, let me know how you're doing as well. But if you want to see how I create this look and my thoughts on all the products I tested, they will all be listed down in the description box below if you are interested as well. Please do just keep on watching. Yeah, I don't know how to do intros anymore, I'm sorry, but enjoy the video. Okay, so let's make a start. Do I do my eyes first? Yeah, let's do my eyes first. So I don't have a new eye primer to test, so I'm just going in with the BEAUTYBAY Eye Base in shade 2. And the eyeshadow palette we have to test today is the Lottie London Ibiza palette. I'm not sure if you can still get this, but they do quite a few of these little like 9-pan palettes, and I have tested another one before which I think was called Envy Me, and I really liked that one. So we're going to try the colourful one. So this is what it looks like. It does look very nice, very summery, very cute. I'm only going to do one eye on camera and I'll do the other one off camera. I'm not really sure what to do because this palette doesn't go very dark, and I usually quite like to at least darken my outer corner, but that's not really an option. So I'm thinking we're gonna keep it pinky peach because that matches the blush and everything else that I'm going to use. So I'm going to start with this shade here, this pink one. They do have names. I think it's called Daiquiri, I'm not sure. Let's go in with it. That shade's gone on really nicely. I will say I had to dip in 3 times to get this level of pigment and this amount on my eyes, which is absolutely fine. It does take a little bit of building up, but I do think it looks really nice. It's very true to the colour in the pan, which we like. It's a very bright pink, like I said, very summery sort of palette. The palette I tested from them before was a neutral palette, so I kind of just wanted to see what their colourful palettes would be like. I think I picked this up in TK Maxx, so I'm not even sure if you can still get it, but so far so good. The next shade I'm going to go in with is this one over here. It's sort of like a pale orangey sort of shade, but we'll go in with it. That shade's gone on really nicely. My only criticism is it's kind of taken over the pink a little bit. They've blended really nicely together, but they have just sort of, the pink doesn't look quite as defined as it did. But that's fine. Hopefully it'll fix itself when I go back through and blend again and add a bit more pigment. But now I think I'm torn between either this like pale orange or this yellow. I think I want to keep it a bit more orangey, so I'm going to go in with the pale orange. Okay, that shade actually worked really, really nicely. It's blended out that first orange shade perfectly. They are a perfect match for each other when it comes to blending. What I'm going to do now is go back through those 3 shades and just re-intensify them. That took very little work to get it to the position I want it in. I think the thing with these colours is they're a little bit almost neon-esque. Like they're edging on the side of being neon, and that may be why they sort of lose their pigment if you blend them together a bit too much. But they look really nice on the eyes and I'm pretty happy with them. That eye look, the 3 shades, took like a few minutes to do, not a lot of time at all. I realise I'm only doing one eye, but that's fine. Now we have 4 shimmers. We have an orange, a lilac, a sort of like pinky coppery sort of shade, and then an actual pink. So let's have a look at them. They look a little bit dry, and these 2 in the middle don't seem to have much of a base to them, and the pink one is a bit underwhelming. I would say the orange has the most pigment and the most base to it, but then this one's my favourite, so I might go in with this one. The lilac is also a little bit underwhelming. They just sort of feel a little bit dry. It might just be because this palette's been sat in my cupboard for a while, but I think I'm going to go in with like the coppery rose sort of shade because that one looks like I might like it the most. I think I was right. It is a bit flaky and I have got a little bit of fallout from it as well, but I did wet it with a setting spray, which hopefully you've seen, and I think that helped a lot. It's not my favourite shimmer ever, but I think I remember saying a similar thing about the other palette I tried from Lottie London. They're nice shimmers, they're just nothing special in my opinion, and I actually prefer the mattes, which is a bit annoying because normally I prefer shimmers in most palettes. But yeah, it's given a nice wash of shimmer. It looks quite nice on my eyes. It's just not my favourite shimmer formula, which is absolutely fine. Like I said, really like the mattes, really quite like the eye look. It's quite nice and summery. What I'm going to do now is go off camera, do the other eye, and then we'll come back and we'll start on our base. Okay, eyes are done, and I actually think the one that I did on camera came out a little bit better. But now let's move on to the base, and I have quite a few items that I'm excited to try. So first of all, the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. This is meant to be a dupe of the Milk Hydra Grip, and I've heard really good things about it. I know that Soph from Soph Does Life really enjoys this primer, so let's give it a go. Okay, I've taken about a little bit over a pump, just because the first pump doesn't count. That actually does feel quite nice on the skin. After pretty much exclusively using the e.l.f. Putty Primer for the last 3 months, it's kind of weird applying anything else. But it doesn't feel how I was expecting it to. I thought it would be a lot stickier. It's actually really not. It does have a tack to it. I can feel my hand sort of sticking to my face a little bit. But that's fine. I guess the real test is when we put foundation on, and I don't actually have a new foundation to test, so I'm just going to chuck on my regular foundation, which is going to be the e.l.f. Flawless Satin Foundation. They should work together because they're both e.l.f. products. And then I'm also going to put on concealer, which will be the Rimmel Multitasker concealer because that is my favourite. And then we'll come back and chat a little bit more about the primer. Foundation and concealer are on. In terms of how my skin is looking, I'm pretty used to using these products in terms of foundation and concealer, so I know what they should look like. I think they look fine. I will say I also did apply most of my foundation with a brush and then my concealer with a dry sponge because I could not be bothered to go downstairs and wet it. Like I said, I'm used to using the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, and I do think that does a decent job at like smoothing out my pores a little bit. Obviously this primer isn't designed to do that, so I'm not going to sort of judge it against the Poreless Putty Primer, but I will say my pores look relatively good. Like, you can still see them particularly on like my nose and like this area of my cheek and this area of my cheek because that's where I get the most porous. But overall I don't think it looks that bad. My makeup went on really nicely on top of it. I do have some spots that I can't be bothered to cover up because who cares. But overall I think it's gone on really nicely, the foundation on top of everything. So yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm going to have to give it a bit more of a test for like a full day's wear, but overall so far looking pretty good. Now I do have some cream products to test. I'm going to start with my cream bronzer. This is the Revolution Ultra Cream Bronzer in Light. It looks like this, but it looks like this. I'm going to swatch it. Ooh, it's very thick. Could be a really, really good shade for me. It's very pale, which I like because I'm very pale. I'm going to go in with a brush. Let's just keep it going. I'm just going to sort of do this and hope for the best. Wish me luck. I think we can all see straight away that I went in with way too much product, and I really have struggled to spread it out and sort of diffuse it a little bit. Yeah, maybe don't do that if you're trying this product. And it did blend out, it's just taking a lot of effort, and I do have to go back in with my foundation brush and my sponge to sort of get it to not look as bad. I will also say I don't think it looks really very nice around my hairline. I think it's sort of sticking in my hairline a lot, and I have tried to sort of get it to blend a bit better, but it just won't. So that's not ideal. I like the colour, but I think where I've applied way too much, it's just too orangey. I think on the back of my hand it looks a bit more sort of like peachy brown, whereas on my face it does just look a little bit more orange, which isn't ideal. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like I'd have to try it again. I think now that I've had some time to go back in with my foundation brush and my sponge to sort of tone it down a little bit, it does look better. And I think once I've powdered it down with a powder, that might help it a little bit too, just to sort of soften it a little bit. Now I do also have a cream blush. This is the MUA Blushed Liquid Cream Blush in the shade Misty Rose. And it comes in a little tube. I'm going to put it on the back of my hand and then take my brush from there. So it looks like this. It's a very peachy sort of shade. Let me just grab my brush. I really like the shade. I think it would look better with slightly less bronzer, if I'm being honest. But I do really like it. I think it goes on really nicely. It actually blends really easily. I'm obviously not taking loads, but it is blending in nicely. It does have a scent to it. I can't put my finger on what the scent is, but I really like it. You can't really smell it on your face. I could only really smell it as my brush sort of passed under my nose and things like that. Because obviously I also put blush on the end of my nose, so I can sort of smell it there. But I really, really like that. It's also a really nice texture. It's not too thick, it's not too runny. I think it is a really nice product. Now I am in desperate need of powdering down in the hopes that it sort of lessens how intense my face looks right now. So I'm going to powder down and then we will carry on. I am powdered down. I just used the Revolution Translucent Loose Baking Powder. I don't think it looks that different on camera, if I'm being honest. I think it still looks just as intense as it did a second ago. But I think in person, it just all looks like it's melted together a little bit. I will say, you can definitely see the bronzer has like stuck to my hairline. I'm not a fan of that because obviously my skin is very pale, so where my hairline meets my skin, sort of like the skin under my hair, my scalp, is very pale, and I don't like it when your face is a completely different colour to your like parting or anything like that. Yeah, just not my favourite thing. I know a lot of people don't like it, so that is just something to bear in mind. I mean, obviously I did use too much. I think in future I would go in with a lot less and almost build it up instead of just going in full force. Now for blush, powder blush, we have the BEAUTYBAY powder blush in the shade Peachy. I have tried their powder blushes before. I have the shade Coral, but this came in one of their mystery boxes, I want to say. So let's give this shade a test. I actually think it should work pretty well with the MUA liquid blush. Okay. I've not put too much on because I already look like a clown, and honestly I think it's just getting worse. But I do really like that shade. I was right, it does work perfectly with that MUA liquid blush, which I think is really good. I think they match really nicely. Personally, when I do a liquid blush, I like to put a powder blush on top anyway. So having shades that work really well together is really nice. I'm literally looking at myself and I'm like, it doesn't look good. But my argument is all the products are working well individually. I've just used too much of them and I look ridiculous. I'm looking in my monitor. I look a little bit ridiculous, but it's fine. I don't have a powder bronzer, and honestly I don't need any more bronzer, do I? So we're going straight into highlight, and you cannot get this anymore, I know, but this is the Huda Beauty Shimmer Highlight Palette. That's all I can tell you about it. Now, I picked this up in TK Maxx ages ago, maybe over a year ago, and I really shouldn't have because these shades are not going to work for me. I can maybe get this one and this one's work for me. This is a cream, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to try the pink and hopefully it'll work. Fingers crossed. I actually quite like it. It doesn't help. All the colours on my face are sort of making it hard to see it a little bit. I do think it's quite nice. I actually really quite like a pink highlight. I know it's not for everyone, but I personally do. Yeah, I quite like it. I think on my nose you can sort of see it's giving me a cast. I don't know if you can see it, but I can see that it's giving me a cast. But that's fine, I just use a little bit less on my nose. Works for me. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to become my favourite highlighter, and I think also what puts me off is that there's 4 shades in here. I can't use 2 of them, and the cream one I probably won't use. I will just swatch them all for you. So we've got the cream one, which feels very dry. In fact, it's so dry it's not even working. The pink one, the purple one, and this bronzy one. Now I do think the bronzy one and the purple one look really nice. In fact, they all look really nice. The cream one doesn't work anymore. They all look really nice, and I could use these two on like my eyes and things like that. But yeah, I think that's what throws me off, is having 4 shades and I can really only use one of them. And I'm not going to use it that often because I have other pink highlighters that I would reach for more. So yeah, I don't know. It's not really relevant because you can't get this palette anymore, but I thought I'd just give it a go seeing as it's in my collection. Something that absolutely terrifies me, this is the NYX, the Brow Glue. And honestly it scares me because I'm not somebody that like really sticks their brows up loads, and maybe I should have done this before my foundation, I didn't think of that. But yeah, I'm not really somebody that sticks their brows up because I just don't. So I don't know why I bought this. I think because I just saw loads of people hyping it up, but it looks like this. I was expecting it to be slightly bigger. I do have quite a few NYX products that they've sent to me. They didn't send me this, but they have sent me brow products in the past, and I really liked them. So hopefully this will work out well. Okay, so thoughts on the brow glue. It definitely feels sticky, like I feel it sort of getting thicker on my brows. So if that's what you're looking for, I imagine this would be really good. I think I'd have to get used to using it. I also think too much product comes out on the spoolie. That's why I'm going in with a sort of my own spoolie that's on the end of a brush. I'm going in with that to sort of, once I've got the product on there, just to actually like brush it through and get my brows in the position I want. I do also think I should have done this before I did my foundation because I'm trying to be careful to not like ruin my foundation. What I'm going to do now is try going in with a pencil. I don't have a brow pencil to test, so I'm just going to go in with my, let me get it, MUA Brow Define Micro Precision Brow Pencil. This is the brow pencil I pretty much always use. So let's just see how this goes. Okay. So that was a bit more difficult than normal, and I will actually say, and I didn't think about this beforehand, I normally do my brow pencil first, and then I normally go in with my brow gel. So that is different. However, it's difficult to draw on top of, but it's not impossible. Like I've definitely still been able to draw my brows in, which is fine. I just think I'm not used to this product, and that's the issue I'm having, because I just don't know what I'm doing with it, and I feel like it could work a lot better if I knew what I was doing, and I don't. In terms of what it says it does, it says it sticks your brows down. My brows do feel in place. Even now, I'm trying to run a spoolie through them, and they are definitely a bit more stuck in place than I was expecting them to be, which is good. So yeah, if this is the sort of product you normally reach for, like a sticking down brow gel, I think it's really good. It's just not the sort of product I normally reach for. What I'm going to do now is just pull some of the same matte eyeshadow shades along my lower lash line, just to sort of finish up that part of my makeup. There we go, that's looking a bit better now. I feel like having the eyes and the brows done has helped the rest of my face look a little bit more normal. Let me know what you think, I might be wrong. I'm maybe trying to convince myself that I look okay. But now let's move on to mascara. And I don't normally test new mascaras because I normally have too many open, but I actually don't for once. So we're going to test this one. This is the Lottie London Super Fake False Lash Effect Mascara in black. It looks like this. It's just a plain white tube. I actually quite like this, although if I saw this on a shelf or on my shelf, I'd probably just assume it's a clear brow gel, but that could just be me. Then we open it up. Ooh, it's got barely any bristles on it at all. The bristles are so tiny. It reminds me of the L'Oreal Telescopic, and I didn't like that. So I am skeptical to say the least, but let's give it a go. I prefer this to the L'Oreal Telescopic. I'm going to start with that. The issue I have with the L'Oreal Telescopic, and it is kind of the same with this, and it's also a Primark mascara I tested once, it puts too much product on my lashes, and I know that a lot of people like thicker lashes. I don't like my lashes to sort of like be clumped together. I'm noticing that this eye has a few clumps, so I'm just going to use a brush. So we'll try and separate them out a bit. That has helped actually, that worked wonders. I do think it's given length and it has definitely given like thickness. I personally, when it comes to mascara, I prefer ones that are lengthening and separating. I want it to look like I have 1,000 lashes, not like I just have 5 really big ones. But that's just my preference, and I've literally just realised I've got a setting spray in front of me to test. And I should have done that before my mascara, but oh well, we'll test it in a minute. I do like it, and I will wear it. It's not going to be my favourite. Oh, I don't know, I'm looking at it and I like it more the more I look at it. I don't know. I think it's just because I'm so used to putting like multiple layers of mascara on. Whereas this, you just sort of need one, or at least I would only wear one layer. Because otherwise I just think it would clump my lashes together too much. I'm very surprised that I actually liked it. But I think I do. I'll test it a bit more, obviously. But I do think I like it. Now I'm going to test the setting spray. I have wanted to test this setting spray for the longest time. It is the Revolution Creator Revolution Makeup Fixing Spray. Maybe this isn't the one I wanted to test. I thought the one I wanted to test was like the Drag Fix or something like that. I don't know. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on my face, but we are also going to do the eyeshadow test, which is where I take a couple of eyeshadows. I'm going to take the bright pink, the purple, and a shimmer, the orange, because why not? I'm going to put these on my arm. I'm going to put them on part of my arm that doesn't have tattoos on it. So there's the pink, there is the lilac, and there is the orange shimmer. And I'm going to also spray those and see if this actually fixes it in place. First of all, let's check the mister. Okay, quite a nice fine mist actually, so that's pretty good. So we're just going to spray these. Let them dry. I'm also going to spray my face. I'm going to try and cover up my mascara. Oh, I don't like the smell. I do not like the smell. At all. It smells like something that you should not be spraying on your face. It's almost like a hint of coconut and like nail polish remover. Oh, I'm not a fan of that. But if it sticks my makeup down, I'm going to use it, let's be honest. I'm just sort of trying to dry it a little bit quicker. I'll try and dry my arm a little bit quicker too. But yeah, actually while that is setting, we will put on some lipstick. This is the BEAUTYBAY matte lipstick in the shade Gelato. I have wanted to wear this for the longest time. I think it's going to match the eyes very nicely. Again, I have tested the BEAUTYBAY matte lipsticks before. I do really like them. I think I have 3 different shades at this point. Love them all. I quite like the shade. It did go a little bit wrong on my lip. I sort of did it wrong, completely my fault. Should have used a lip liner, but oh well. I think I probably do have a lip liner that matches this quite nicely. In terms of the colour, I do quite like it. I just realised all of my mascara is smudged, but it's fine. It's fine. I'm going to take it off in a minute anyway. I do like the colour. I feel like this is a bit more sheer than the other ones I've tested. Please ignore the fact that it's gone wrong on this side of my lip. But I feel like it's a bit more sheer. I had to build it up a little bit more. It is matte, but it doesn't feel too uncomfortable. But I do think it makes my lips look very like wrinkly. You can kind of see the lines. You can kind of see the lines on my lips like very clearly. I'm not too mad at it. I quite like it. I will wear it, especially now spring, summer. I tend to wear more pinks. I think I will really like it. It matches amazingly with the eyes, to be honest. But now let's test this. So I'm just going to rub it with my finger and hopefully none of it will come off. I am really rubbing at it, and it has definitely, some of it has rubbed off. Like we've lost a lot of pigment, but it's still there. It's still there. It's lasting pretty well. I also don't plan on like rubbing my face loads during the day, so it's an extreme test to say the least. But there we go. That was a lot of thoughts in one video. I'm not going to do like a final thoughts because I feel like I give in my thoughts throughout the video. I think a lot of these products I am going to have to retry, particularly the bronzer. I think I'm gonna have to retry. But overall, I would leave the house like this. I do think it's very intense, like it's very intense, and I'm putting that mainly down to the bronzer, although the eyeshadow is also pretty bright. Yeah. Also, I'm noticing the lipstick has a scent, and I can almost taste the scent, which isn't my favourite thing, but that's fine. Overall, I think I generally liked everything. I think there's a few products I need to test a bit more and get used to, but on the whole, I don't think there were any terrible products. The highlight isn't my favourite, which is fine because you can't even buy the product anymore anyway. The bronzer, definitely need to try that again and see if I can get it to work for me. Blush, loved both of them. Lipstick, really like. Eyeshadow, really liked. Overall, pretty happy, pretty positive video, even though it went a bit awry in the middle there, but that's absolutely fine. But there we go. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. I put up one video a week at the moment. Hopefully that'll change at some point soon in the future, but one video at the moment. But other than that, I hope you have a great day, an amazing week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.